Hello and welcome to my latest video. Now on this video we are covering former light flyweight champion Myung Woo Yuh. Okay, we will go through his career starting with his major fights. So on to Myung Woo Yuh. Woo Yuh. Okay, he starts out with 2 wins over former world champion Leo Games. He then also has 2 fights against good Japanese fighter Hiroki Ioka. Myung Woo Yuh wins one of them and suffers 1 defeat. He then scores 2 wins over former world champion Jose de Jesus, before then also scoring a win over former world champion Rodolfo Blanco. Next up is Joey Oliva. Okay, Myung Woo Yuh fights him on 1 occasion, scoring 1 win, and then he also scores a win over former brief world champion Jung B1. Next up is former contender Benedicto Murillo. Myung Woo Yuh scores a singular win. He then also defeats Ray Ki An, also in a singular fight. Good morning, Martin. Good to see you. Oh, it's still morning. 2 minutes. Next is Tomohiro Kahuna. Okay, Myung Woo Yuh defeats him in a singular fight. He then scores 2 wins over Mario Alberto DeMarco, before then also gaining singular wins over Willie Salazar, Hisashi Tokushima, and Yuichi Hosono. So that is the major opponents for Myung Woo Yuh. Okay, there are 17 fights listed there. Myung Woo Yuh won 16 of those fights with 1 loss and 0 draws. So going on to KOs and rounds boxed, Myung Woo Yuh scored 14 knockouts in his career, 4 inside 3 rounds or less, and he scored 1 first round win. Now he scored 2 KOs against champions, 0 KOs against Hall of Famers, 0 KOs against pounders, and Myung Woo Yuh scored 2 KOs against rated fighters. Now in rounds boxed, okay, he fought a total of 329 professional career rounds. He fought a total of 218 rounds in title fights, and he fought 108 rounds against champions. Now against Hall of Famers, Myung Woo Yuh, okay, scored 0 rounds against Hall of Famers and 0 rounds against pound for pound fighters. Easy for you to say, BL. Sorry, Martin, you've got me on that one. Myung Woo Yuh, okay, fought 113 rounds against top 10 fighters, 48 rounds against top 3 fighters, and 0 rounds against ring champions. So, going on to his slide against champions, Myung Woo Yuh had 8 fights against champions, including... Oh, I haven't changed his total! No, his total is... 8 wins and 1 loss, no draws against champions. Myung Woo Yuh, okay, defeated 6 individual champions, and he also defeated Leo Games, Hiroki Ioka, Jose de Jesus, Rodolfo Blanco, Joey Oliva, and Jung B1. Yeah, his record against champions, if I remember correctly, is 8 wins, 1 loss, no draw. I was getting this video ready last night, and I'd done the Hall of Fame and Champions slide, and for reasons you'll see, I forgot to change this one because I didn't. Never mind, you'll see. So he scored a KO or stoppage over one of those champions, that was Rodolfo Blanco. So going on to the Hall of Fame slide, this is the reason why I got caught out, okay, because he has 0 fights against Hall of Famers with no wins, no loss, no draw. Myung Woo Yuh, okay, defeated no Hall of Famers individually, and he also scored knockouts, thus over 0 Hall of Famers. And when we go on to the pound for pound slide, it is the same story. He never fought a fighter who got rated pound for pound in my all-time rankings, so he's no win, no loss, no draw. Myung Woo Yuh, okay, defeated no pound for pounders and scored knockouts over 0 pound for pounders individually. So, moving on, okay, to rated opponents slide. Now, Myung Woo Yuh, okay, had a record of 9 fights against rated opponents. Oh, crikey, I forgot if this fighter was your top Korean fighter. Was it him or was it Jungkoo Chang? Let me find out. Yeah, I'll get that answer for you, mate, because I've just temporarily forgotten. I've been busy as hell all morning. Yeah, so Myung Woo Yuh, from 4 fights against top 3 rated fighters, he has a record of 3 wins, 1 loss, and no draw. And Myung Woo Yuh, okay, had no fights against ring champions, so that is no wins, no losses, and no draws. So, on to rated fighters beat individually. Myung Woo Yuh, okay, defeated 6 rated fighters individually. He scored knockouts over 2 of them, so 2 from 6 as a knockout rate against rated opponents. And Myung Woo Yuh, number 1 was Junku Chang. Let me go to number 2. Number 2 was Sung Kil Moon, and number 3 was Myung Woo Yuh. So, on to title fight numbers. Now, one thing Myung Woo Yuh did have is a large title fight record. Now, this brings to point the point I always raise about title fight record numbers can sometimes make it appear boxers have better resumes than what they do. It's something I've been talking about on here for a long time. And when you look at Myung Woo Yuh, you see he has an enormous title fight record. Okay, but when you look at lower title fight numbers on other fighters, they have far better resumes in those title fight numbers. So Myung Woo Yuh had a massive 21 world title fights, and he has an excellent record of 20 wins with 1 loss and no draws. He also made a staggering 18 title defences, and Myung Woo Yuh scored 10 title fight KOs. If I'm talking a bit strange, I had to have a tooth out and it's changed the airflow in my mouth, so I'm just readjusting. With age comes things like this. So Myung Woo Yuh, okay, from those 20 world title fight wins, he scored 8 wins against top 10 fighters in title fights, 3 wins against top 3 rated fighters, and 0 wins against ring champions. Now, Myung Woo Yuh scored 7 wins against champions in title fights. He scored 0 wins against Hall of Famers and 0 wins against pound for pounders, obviously having no wins in both of those categories, like with the ring champions. So on to the last slide for Myung Woo Yuh. Okay, he captured the WBA light flyweight title, on 2 occasions. He never was regarded as lineal champion, although he was an early claimant, and he was never undisputed champion in that division, holding a singular belt on 2 occasions. So I'm quite happy I've got through my first video. Okay, my apologies for not changing that record against champions, but sometimes, yeah, I've still got teeth, mate. I know some people, I'm not saying you here, Martin, but some people have this idea that I'm really old. Trust me, I'm not really old at all. I'm not. Some people, one guy came to me once and he said, what are you about? Are you in your mid-60s? Are you in your mid-60s? I'll slap you on the face if I saw you. I'm not in my mid-60s. Cheeky TWAT. Yeah. But yeah, there's Myung Woo Yuh. So that is the light flyweight division open. Of course, there are many fantastic light flyweight fighters, and many great fighters from those low weights from modern era, like the aforementioned Junku Chang, the Eagle, like Michael Little Hands of Stone Carbajal, and fantastic Mexican fighter Humberto Gonzalez. So there are going to be many fantastic fighters down in these low weights I will cover on video over time. They're all not going to come rushing through, but they will come over time. I'm still focused on 1918, 1930 era for the most part, but as soon as that era's done, I will be jumping, and many more fighters on these intermediate divisions will be appearing. The goal is not how I've started out to now. It's a bit like I was asked a question yesterday about well, how do you know this fighter's record's accurate? Well, 50 years ago, Egyptology's views on the Great Pyramids were what they were, because the Egyptologists were working on the assumptions they had learned, well, not assumptions, but working on the facts they had learned up to that point. Okay, so the easy answer to the point yesterday, and like with this film argument, all these arguments are silly. It's like historical events, they're researched, investigated, wrote about, and then 50 years later, 100 years later, new evidence can come to light that changes the facts slightly. So what happens? The people with the new facts amend their view, amend their way of thinking, amend their viewpoints on that event. And boxing careers are the same. 50 years ago, they will not have known about all of the fights on every fighter's career what they do now. 50 years from now, they may have found the odd fight on a fighter's career, or they may have found 10 fights off a fighter's career. Other fighters have been researched so heavily to write books, etc., etc. The researchers who wrote those books can often cite where those fighters were week to week through their entire career, because they've had to research that career very deeply. Could fights still come out of the woodwork? Of course they could. And if I did a video in 10 years' time on a fighter and new fights were found in that 10 years, then guess what? My video will reflect the new information we have. But the answer to the question yesterday about, well, how do you know this fighter's record's accurate? Well, how do you know Waterloo's story's accurate? You don't. We have to go on what we know at the time. If in 10, 20 years new information comes to light, then the people will amend their viewpoint on that. You know, it's like if Jack Chase is a perfect example. I have heard he had 20 fights as young Joe Louis. I've heard he went unbeaten in 47 fights as young Joe Louis, 43 wins and 4 draws. I've heard that he had over 30 fights as young Joe Louis. No one has ever fully mapped all that out. So until they do, I won't include it. Now, if all them get catalogued, categorised, they know those fights happened, and someone builds that career, then I will add it to Jack Chase's career, because it's been formally identified, investigated. We know those fights happened. So people saying, well, how do you know all his fights are on his career? Well, how do I know that a bus ain't going to hit me when I walk out on road? I mean, you know, you're speculating. You know, this is why these arguments to me, you know, are just silly, and I pay no attention to them, like the footage argument that only matters to boxing. Out of every other factoid apparently in history, footage only matters in boxing. We have to have HD footage in boxing, and like I pointed out yesterday, even now with HD footage, get 10 people in a room, say, was Pacquiao the greatest? You'll get some saying no, he's not top 10. You'll get some saying he's top 10. You'll get some saying he's greatest fighter who ever lived. You know, even with the footage, and you know this. Well, how do you know this and that? You know, it is what it is. But anyway, pardon my babbling. This video's gone a bit longer than I expected. But I'm very pleased to open another division, the light flyweight division. There will be those fantastic fighters I mentioned, plus other fighters like Hiroki Ioka, Saman Soljaturung, and many other fighters coming over time. So we will go through them as I see fit. But at the moment, with many of the intermediate divisions, I'm getting them open so there's something on them. I will naturally add fighters over time. And what I was alluding to earlier, it's not where I am now, it's where I'll be in 2 years' time. All the playlists will have lots of fighters on. There'll be mass numbers of career videos across all the 17 divisions. And no, despite I was asked on Facebook the other day, I am not counting Bridgerweight. Okay, I'm just not interested. Don't care about the alphabet bodies creating weight divisions to help small heavyweights, on the proviso that they can charge loads of sanctioning fees and throw more belts out by Amazon drone and drop them off to people. So no, I'm not counting Bridgerweight. So there we are. There's my latest video. Big shout out to Martin in the chat. I'm the Boxing Librarian. I'll be back soon with many more videos. I'm out for now.